In this lesson, we will build a scene for Angelo. If you are working along, continue with your document or open up Lesson 5 in the Exercise Files directory. Before we start, remove the guideline by pulling it back up into the ruler. Then lock all 4 of Angelo's layers so they don't get into the way. I'll start with the sky. We create a new layer, rename it, and then move it to the bottom. Next, we select the rectangle tool, turn off the stroke color and set the fill to any blue, or click on the color code and type in this value. Click and drag a rectangle over the entire stage. Now for the floor. With the sky layer selected, create a new layer above and rename it to floor. If it's not above the sky layer, just drag to move it like before. We select the rectangle again and set the fill to any green color or type in the color code. Click and drag to make a wide floor. We can adjust its size by switching to the free transform tool and pulling the handles on the edges. Now we will import some pre-drawn props into our scene. I drew these props in Adobe Illustrator beforehand. Vector art from Illustrator is 100% compatible with Animate. Click on the File menu and select Import to Stage. I'm selecting the Adobe Illustrator file from the Assets directory. Click Import using the default settings. A new layer has been created with 4 drawing groups on it. When I click on the mountain, the Properties panel gives me properties for a group. Double-clicking on the mountain itself takes us inside the group. Notice that the shapes from Illustrator are normal drawing objects. I'm double-clicking to exit isolation mode and return to Scene 1. Now, since these props are going to be moved along Angelo's path, we need to convert them to graphic symbols. Graphic symbols are something that we can animate using tweens. With the mountain group selected, I go to the Modify menu and choose Convert to Symbol. We name it Mountain and choose the graphic type. Notice that the mountain is now safely stored inside the library for use later. Next, we convert the cloud group. Then the sky turtle. I just call him Airboy. And then the mushroom. All the props for this video is now in the library and can be instanced on the stage. I really want Airboy to be looking down. Let's edit him by double-clicking on his picture in the library. Notice that Airboy has its own timeline and layers separate from the main stage. Double-click on the drawing group to get to the shapes. Here we deselect first and then shift-select both eyes. We tap down on the keyboard to position the eyes lower and click back to Scene 1. If you look at Airboy now, he looks down in the library as well as on the stage. When an instance of a symbol is on the stage, it is just a copy of that in the library. It is now okay to delete the layer from the import. Create a new layer above the sky layer and name it Clouds. Then drag an instance of clouds onto the stage and position it. Add a layer above clouds and name it Mountain. Like before, drag a mountain from the library. Our scene is now set up. In the next lesson, we'll add motion to the clouds and mountain using tweens. Draw some props to accompany your main character and put them in graphic symbols. Put them each on their own layer if you plan to animate them later. Add more layers to draw backgrounds, middle grounds, or foregrounds. Export a JPEG or take a screenshot and add it to your project.